people need to see when it's in copy, they need to see themselves. They need to see that this person understands them. They need to see that the person on the other end actually gets what they're going through. And if you're not setting yourself up where someone feels like they can trust you with the authority, but also trust you as a human being, then you're going to struggle to convert.
Attention marketers and entrepreneurs, this is Valuetizing, the place where we talk about scaling brands worth promoting. If you're a mission-driven entrepreneur obsessed with creating, scaling, and exiting multi-million-dollar brands, this is for you. My name is Santiago Phoenix and I am a business growth consultant, online marketer, and investor. I have helped more than 100 7- and 8-figure founders increase profits, claim their time back, and transform the world. Now it's your turn. Welcome to the show. Hello and welcome to Valuetizing. My guest today is Vanessa Wilde, a copywriter, creative strategist, and launch messaging expert. I have worked with Vanessa for over a year, and she's a genius at writing copy that connects deeply with people while driving sales at the same time. And as she says, found your freedom while you are present in life. Vanessa, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's so good to be here.
Thank you. There are so many things that I want to speak with you. But first, there's something I always wanted to know is how do you get into copywriting? How do you get started?
Yeah, so I've been on the online space since 2012. So I've been around for a while, seen a lot of the evolution of a lot of different things. But my background started in network marketing. So, which I find a lot, there's been I come in contact with a lot of business owners who start with network marketing because it's such a good starting point when you don't have any background or anything. It gives you a chance to get in and kind of learn the ropes of digital marketing. From there, because I use social media all the time, I was ended up going into social media coaching, helping in that. And then what did I do after that? I did something else after that. Oh, network marketing coaching. Because I was like, network marketers need support. They pretty much are struggling and I wanted to really support them. And during that time, I started writing copy for my best friend who is a website designer. And I was writing copy for her. I was writing her emails. I was writing her content. And I loved it. Like it was something that lit me up. And because I really understood digital marketing strategy, the online space so well, I was able to pull that in and not just utilize like words, but actually think about when someone comes across this, what are they going to think? What are they going to feel? What should they know? And so I was utilizing that when I was talking, when I was helping my friend, and she was like, you should be doing this for your business. You are really good at this and you should be getting paid for this. So then that's when I was like, okay, I don't know. I don't have a marketing degree or anything, which I thought I had to have for this. Yeah. I don't have that. I've taken a whole bunch
English grammar.
Right. I actually hated writing in growing up. I would cry when I was in elementary school because I hated writing so much. But then I found the marketing side of writing and it just connected with me and I just loved it and loved the aspect of being able to get into people's heads and convert them.
And what part of copywriting do you like the most?
The psychology, to be honest with you. I'm the type where I like the criminal shows because I love understanding why someone would do something. Why are they making the decisions that they're doing and how can you help them convert? Yeah. And how can you help them see the value in this? And so I love getting in their head and helping them see that value, helping them see why they should take that next step. And that's what gets me going.
So I know you are super empathetic because I know you personally, but not everyone is. How can they get inside their customer's head? Is there any particular exercise or anything that has worked for you or clients?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I would say the best way to actually get in their head is talking with them, actually get to know them and hear what they're saying, because there's a lot of like, for me, I can usually see people just because like you were saying, I'm empathetic, where I can kind of like, I can see someone and be like, is everything all right? Like, or is something off? Like, I feel like something's off. Like I can kind of get the vibes. But if that's not something where you truly understand and that can catch on, like certain, like I don't know how, it's just something that happens. Then get in conversations with them, hear what they're saying. Even if you're like, well, I'm not sure if they'll be open to me, ask someone else to help out. There's people that would be willing to go into and do market research for you and be willing to open up. And I would say the most valuable conversations come from actually talking with them versus surveys. Surveys are great. They're fun. They're easy, but people are not going to be as open in a survey because they're just getting it done. When you're having a one-on-one conversation, you can ask deeper questions. Yeah. You can have a back and forth conversation. And if they're on the surface with something, you can be like digging deeper so you can truly understand what it is that's keeping them up at night. What is it that frustrates them? What is it that they're telling their partner that they want more of, that they're hiding and making maybe on social media it look totally different than what is actually going on within their life?
Why do you think that's so important?
Yes. Why? So people need to see when it's in copy, they need to see themselves. They need to see that this person understands them. They need to see that the person on the other end actually gets what they're going through. And if you're speaking surface level, it's not going to feel like you understand them. And so the only way that you're going to get deep enough is actually getting out of them what it is that's going on. Or I know some people, like you come from your ICA, you used to be your ICA. And so you were in their steps. So you know what that is like, yeah. But you're further along. So you may forget even. So diving into it so that you make sure that when they read it, they go, that's me. I need this. I need to be able to get to where she or he is saying that I can go. And that's being super specific.
Interesting. So for someone who, I don't know, I'm trying to, for someone who would be not into copywriting, they're a business owner and they're running ads and their ads are not working and they hear messaging is the key. How would you explain that?
Yeah.
How would you?
I would explain it as speaking to where they're at and what they need. And really honing in on like what it is their core desire is. So as far as when someone sees an ad, for example, if it's just saying like, if the messaging is as simple as, hey, I can get you like freedom. I can get you freedom in the next 30 days, or I can get you that resort that you're looking for in the next 30 days. That's the messaging of, hey, I can get you this end result of the freedom, or I can get you wherever that goal is that you're wanting. But is it specific enough? Okay. And so there's going to be so many other people within your industry that are saying the same stuff. And so when you're on this surface level of messaging, as far as, oh, I can get you to this result, or you're struggling with this, but if you're not going deep enough, it's going to blend in with everyone else. So you may be like, I've nailed my messaging. I know that my person is struggling with this and they want to go to this spot. But if you're at the surface level, they're going to see your ad and then they're going to get targeted by someone else with the same messaging and someone else with the same messaging. And so your best bet is to continue to ask why this matters to them, and your true message will pull out a lot more than what you currently are at.
Interesting. So why does that matter to them?
Yes. And it's not just the first time, because the first time you ask why, you're just slightly getting below the surface. asking 5 times, why does this matter to them? Why does this matter to them? And as you go deeper, you'll truly understand, like, hey, like they grew up, like my person, a lot of them grew up without much. And they were determined that they wanted to create, let's just say they want to grow a business. They're determined to create a business that provides freedom so that their kids can have memories of traveling and they can show them the world that they never had. And that's so much more meaningful than saying, hey, you could go and see the world.
Yeah.
They're going to connect to that so much more.
Yeah. And I see that so much with everybody promising make 6 figures, make 10K, make 10K.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's very few the people who go deeper than that.
And why do they want to make that much? What's their reasoning for it? And so once you get past that, it's not just going to be fluff and pulling something out of your behind. It's actually going to be solid for them and actually connect with them where they know you get them and they know that you can take them where they want to go.
So do you think those core desires, like how do you avoid maybe getting so specific that you're neglecting part of the market? Or what would you say to someone who is like, oh my God, I don't want to leave people out?
It's very rare that you will, to be honest. Because if I said, oh, I want to make money to take my family to Disney World, like that's my core desire. And so someone on the other end is saying, hey, I'm going to, like, I want to help you build a business so that you can take your family to Europe and cruises. Well, I don't say Disney World. I mean, they didn't say Disney World, but I'm replacing that outcome with Disney World. Or maybe I'm replacing it with a van. And so even if you are specific, that person replaces their desire with what they are actually visualizing, because you're painting the picture enough that they're like, oh, well, I don't really care for Europe, but I do care to go to Hawaii, or I do care about taking my kids to Legoland. This really relates to me. So they'll put themselves in it, but you have to paint it well enough so that they're able to even do that in the first place.
That is super insightful. Yeah. So it's like, don't be afraid of being specific, because people will just put their own desires into that story, more or less.
Yes. And even so, if I just said, hey, travel the world, is very different than saying, hey, imagine taking your kids on a cruise and going down the slides, showing them the different islands. Someone can start picturing that and seeing that happen. And then for them, if the Disney World is where they're going to go, they're like seeing this cruise, and then they're going, I could do the same thing with Disney World because I'm seeing it now, versus just take your family around the world.
Interesting. And what are some of the ways that you do that? I know you're a big, for example, proponent of stories.
Yeah. So sales pages are some of my favorite to do. So I like sales pages and emails.
Yeah.
And so especially with sales pages, at the beginning of a sales page, for example, I really paint the picture of where they currently are and those specific struggles that they're experiencing. So it could be like very specific of, hey, like you're coming to like payday, it happens and you run out of money that before your next payday. So you're living that paycheck to paycheck, wishing that you had been able to save for that trip that you're wanting to go on. And then once you talk about where they're at, actually making them see, I know where you're at, going into, but it's totally like, I know that you want this. Like, I know that you desire this, and it's actually possible. But if you continue, it's going to, and then be specific, what's going to happen if they don't? Talk to them, talk it out. Like, we tend to think that we need to be very professional, super structured with copy. But the more casual you are, think of it like you're talking to a friend. Hey, I see you over there. I see you experiencing this frustration, this frustration, this frustration. And what would you say to a friend? You would say, hey, I saw you were going in that corner crying. I saw like you were telling me that you wish that you had more money in your bank so you could travel to such and such place. And when you tell them those things and actually like you're actually speaking specifically to them, you can then bring around and keep talking like you're connected over a coffee, over the phone, and have that very like casual conversation, and you're pulling them in more than sounding professional. Like, I will get you there. I will help you get the results.
Yeah.
And they're going to connect so much more. The more you can actually connect with them, like you have to set yourself up like the friend and mentor, really. Like you have to set yourself up like, I trust you, and I trust you as a mentor and someone that can take me there. And if you're not setting yourself up where someone feels like they can trust you with the authority, but also trust you as a human being, which comes in a friendship way, it doesn't mean that you have to be like this best friend, but if it's a friendship way of this person gets me, they understand me, then you're going to struggle to convert.
Yeah, that's the sweet spot, right? Between you also need to build authority without being douchey.
Right. And it's totally possible because you just have to let them know like that authority is what credentials or story do you have? What aspect of like helping someone else get there? What can you teach them? Show that side. Well, then the friendship comes from making them know that you understand them and you know what they're going through and you get it.
What other big mistakes do you see businesses, but like more specifically coaches, consultants, personal brands, other mistakes that they do in their copy and their launches messaging?
Yeah, I actually had a conversation with someone the other day, and what there's a couple things, but one of them is not understanding where their customer is in the journey. And so that could be depends on where they're at. So it could be with your lead magnet, it could be with your emails, it could be on your sales page. And so with the lead magnet, for example, I was talking to this person and they were bringing up one of their concepts that they teach. And I said, does that person really know about that concept already? Do they have a connection? And they're like, no, they don't. It's a great idea what she's teaching, but they don't have that concept yet. And so when you are writing your lead magnet and thinking of the idea for it and getting it going, you've got to make sure to connect with them exactly where they're at. So for this person, they're going to Google and they're searching for support for their kids, whether it's that emotional support, developmental support, for this specific business owner. And they were teaching about a one-note song, very different from what they're actually Googling. Yeah. So think about where they're at in their customer journey and actually support them at that point in their journey within your messaging and your copy.
So when it comes to, for example, ChatGPT, how are you using that as someone who is a professional copywriter? Do you actually use it? Do you think it can replace copywriters?
Yeah. So I've tried just letting it do its thing, and there's times it works and times it doesn't. The best time that I've actually seen it do its thing is when you feed it the right stuff. And that takes a lot of refinement. That takes feeding it things that have already been written. That takes really understanding the voice. Yeah. So to me, it's a great starting point. It's great for ideas. It's great even if you write something and you're like, hey, I kind of want to add some humor in this, but my brain's kind of fried right now. Can you add some humor in this for me? But the copywriter needs to still be the lead on it, making sure that you're getting the right angles from it, making sure that it flows right, and making sure that the format is actually the way you need in order for it to convert the proper way.
So it still needs a lot of knowledge about everything that you were talking about, knowledge about the customer journey, their level of awareness, all those things.
Exactly. And they've even said that they said it's not like, we're not ChatGPT is not like a marketing expert. It's best to use maybe with content, like a blog. It could totally help with. You tell it the points. It could potentially save you time there, because you're feeding it what you want in the blog post without too much information, just enough that it can take your own words and make it into it. But as far as conversion copy, I would not recommend relying on it because it has a little ways to go to know what to do for there.
Yeah, and that goes back to a post that I saw that you made about copies way more than words.
Yeah.
If we
Yeah.
use words, ChatGPT will be able to do it.
Exactly. And the words, like, yes, you want them to read something fun, and ChatGPT could probably pull out something that's entertaining if you want it to, or I just told it to do something in unapologetic tone and it can do the right tone. But it's not just about the tone. It's about the actual content and messaging within the copy.
Yeah. And for what was like your approach to emails? I'm curious because some people are like, an email is just like, people are super busy. You just want basically one line and a link. And some others, they propose stories. What was your approach to emails?
Yeah, I think variety is key with emails. People are getting bombarded with emails all the time. And if you're utilizing the same format, it's going to get boring after so long. So you should have a mix of long storytelling. You should have a mix of short to the point. You should have a mix of sometimes one-liners. We've had, like, I've had those the 7-word email, I think that's the number, where you send it out and you're just to your email list, are you still like needing help with a certain thing? All of those work. It's just a matter of within the email making it interesting enough that they want to read the whole thing, but they all still work. You just need to keep them on their toes. And for me, the biggest thing is you want them to be excited about your emails. And so if every email you're sending out is sales, 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 they're going to be like, oh, it's another sales email from this person. So they're going to stop opening them. But I have someone that I'm connected with that I get her emails and I'm like, oh, I'm actually intrigued by your emails. I want to see what she did this time. And part of that is she does use storytelling. And they're longer emails. They're not just short emails, the ones that I get excited. Do I read every word? No, I don't think any of us read every word, but we read most of it and get what we need out of it. And so you want people to be excited. You want your name to pop up and they're like, oh, this person's going to give me value. This person's going to connect with me. And then when there are sales, it's like, oh, this person's done so well at like getting in my inbox and connecting with me that the sales emails are enjoyable.
Yeah, I think many people or many business owners, they feel like email is overly saturated. And yeah, most people receive a ton of email, but people, like, there's a reason why people stay in newsletters. Is because we crave stories, but nobody's delivering them. Like, the space for good emails is still is huge.
I agree with that. If you go in your email right now, most of the emails are going to be like, if you have e-commerce, it's mostly going to be get this clothes, get these, whatever it is, lashes. I love lashes. It's just like buy. Or I have this thing, grab it now, get it now. And it's so much in your face, just get me, grab me, get this, where there has to get to a point where you're connecting with them in email. And people open it and they actually feel something versus I'm just being sold to again. And you can sell even while you connect. You can have a story and connect with them and lead to a sale, but they feel like they can put themselves in your shoes, or they feel heard, whatever that is, versus just buy me, grab this, get this. Even if it's free, it's still getting, like, come to me, get this, grab this.
Yeah.
You need to mix it up.
It's kind of the energy, I think, that
Yes.
transmits through writing.
Yes, 100%. I love that. Well, your energy, and why, going back all the time, why are you writing this email? If it's just for a sale, you need to pause. Because why are you writing this email? If it's to help them get to a certain point, to XYZ, then that's great. That's like, make sure you're leading with that. Make sure you're leading to where you're wanting them to go.
Would you like a custom plan to scale your business? If you want to increase profits without adding more complexity to your life, go to myplantoscale.com and get our free scaling guide right now. It will help you get clear on your business and life goals, ensure your business is optimized for growth, and simplify your schedule so you can focus on what truly matters, making more money while enjoying life and changing the world. Now, back to the show.
Find your freedom while you are present in life. Why is that so important to you?
Yeah, so I had a long time ago, I had a mentor. I think it was a mentor that called us all out. They said, make the life that you're seeing on social media not even as good as the life that you're actually living. And there's so many of us that are creating this social media reality of what our life looks like when we need to be off of social media, not even worried about the persona that we're trying to actually portray, and go and create it and be present and enjoy it. And especially as a mom myself, I am like, these kids, they have 18 summers, 19 summers with us, and then they're off to college.
Oh my, yeah.
It's quick. And so my oldest is about to turn 9, and I'm like, where did the time go? Like, you were just in my arms as a baby in the hospital.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to be that mom where I regret that time. And I don't want my kids to be thinking that all mom did was work. And so I want the same for others, because I believe in that so strongly.
That's so important. Have you found anything that works for you to shut off from work and be more present?
It's still something that I'm personally working on myself. I'm continuing to work on that. I did see this app called Opal, and you can utilize, like with iPhone, they have something where you can control like on and off. I think it's called Opal. It's like OPAL, I believe. But it shuts down your phone, and you can say like which apps you want and during certain times to be available. So it's nice to be able to have like things on your phone, because it's really intriguing. And like I said, I like psychology and how much social media feeds our brain to want to be on it.
Yeah.
And you naturally find yourself just opening up your phone on Instagram, and then you're like, wait, why am I even on this? The other thing that I have done is I move the apps around every once in a while, because our fingers get naturally into like certain spots. And so we naturally we know where the Facebook or the Instagram app is on our phone, and we already know it's there. So we just go to it. And so I move it around once in a while. So then my brain has to think about, oh, it's over here. Oh, wait, I don't actually want to go on it. And so there's process to be able to think versus the automatic reaction, which sometimes happens like with driving. We get into this automatic when you do the same routine, this automatic driving, which we just drive it. We almost wish we could just put it on autopilot when we go to the same places. But when we switch it up, we have to kind of think a little bit more.
Yeah, and I still remember once that we were with a pretty big brand. Most people would recognize them, and you were just giving them incredible creative strategy while your kids were running around the home. Like, to me, that's a superhero. Like, really. I don't know how you do it, but it's incredible.
It's not an ideal situation ever, but I've learned that I need to be as present as I can in the situation. And so I know what my kids need. I fix it, but my priority right now is this. And so right now we've had my daughter step in sometimes during this recording. And so you fix it. I've already had a conversation with her, and then you fix the situation and you can keep talking, or you can pause for a sec and then they go out. And so knowing what your priorities are at the moment is really, really helpful.
Yeah, that's helpful. Another thing that I think is like you are a very rare breed is that you are a creative leader. Because I've seen many creatives that they're introverted, they do not want to, they just want to be on their craft, but you have a kind of both skills. Did you have to like intentionally work on that, or did that come naturally?
I think it just came over time as I've done different things. Network marketing brought out a lot of leadership in me from leading my team. And then I also did events within the area, within the company, working with some of the executives and stuff within the company. And I spoke on stages with hundreds of people. And so I had to like learn in the moment how to be able to take charge, to be able to listen to people while also bringing my ideas. And then motherhood, honestly, it changes you. It teaches you so much. So bringing all that together has really developed me and helped me.
And nowadays, what excites you, like career-wise?
Career-wise, I love the messaging. I love messaging and really helping people refine their messaging. And so I really want to dive in and help as many people as possible with their messaging, because I can't write copy that's actually going to do its job if we don't have that refinement of the messaging. And if that is on point, will it develop over time? Yes, for sure. But if that's on point for this season, for this aspect of time, then it's going to do so much better. And so that's my biggest thing is I really want to get into personal brands, enterprises, like the whole shebang, and really help refine messaging so that they can actually see the results of their hard work.
Yeah.
A lot of business owners, they're the masterpieces of their knowledge of their product, whatever that is that they developed, and they know it so well, but they're getting that out there and making the people understand it, and actually speaking to where the people are at, they don't know as well, and that's okay. Like, we're not meant to know everything. We're not meant to be able to go and wear all the hats in business as much as we all try to. We want to because it saves us money, but is it saving you in the long run? Because you're actually missing out on a lot of opportunities without asking for support and just trying to truck through and do everything yourself.
Yeah, it's kind of that, how do you say it? It's the curse of knowledge, that you know so much that you cannot communicate it to others.
Yeah. And the thing, I come across a lot of business owners where I'm talking to them and they're like, oh, I didn't even see that, or I didn't even think about that. And I said, it's because you're in your business. When you're in your business, you're really too close to it. You don't see the big picture. You don't see like the whole thing because you're inside. You're like a magnifying glass, like right in it. And so you're seeing a lot of the tactical stuff. You're seeing a lot of like, hey, I need to make sure they understand A, B, and C of what you need to teach them, versus on the outside, what do they actually know? What do they need to know to make a decision? And how can I take them from A to B and bring that connection to know, hey, B is where I am, and I need to take them from A to B.
Yeah. And what will be your dream project right now for you?
Oh, that's a great question. I think for me, one of the dream projects would be working with probably an app or business that works with parents or females. It could be like parenting apps, parenting memberships, that type of stuff, or like the femtech world, we're helping women understand their bodies more and being able to understand potentially like their cycles or whatever that is, their health, and support them in that area. I love how much women have risen over the years and have stepped into like leadership roles or CEO roles, and they've also brought out more things to support women in different areas like apps and such.
So you would love to work on those projects.
Yeah, I would love that.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's very different than what, like, the parenting side. I've done some parenting businesses and such. But the femtech world is definitely a newer world. I've done some stuff with it, but I just think it's pretty cool. I like, and it amazes me how much we've developed to understand females and our potential.
Yeah, there's a huge market for it, a huge need.
Yes. And you have a wife out there, so you know 100% the need.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Vanessa. Is there anything else that you would like to share with people about how can they really nail their messaging, write persuasive copy, and connect with their ideal customers?
Yeah, just going back to what I talked about at the beginning, talk with them. Don't hesitate to get on a phone call with them. Get over. I know a lot of times we stand in our own way and we're like, well, will it look like I don't know what I'm doing if I'm asking them things? Just get on the call with them. You could give them a $5 Starbucks. Everyone loves coffee, whatever it is to get them on a call and just talk with them. Just have a chat and get to know them. And then the other thing is really dive into why every time you do something. So if you're writing a sales page, making sure you understand why they need this and portray that versus what they need. Because the what, yes, they want to know, like, what is it that you're going to deliver? What is it that you're going to do? But why do those even matter? What will they do for them? And so asking yourself all the time with all the copy you're doing, why? And when you go that step further with why, even a couple more times than once, up to 5 times, then you're going to actually make copy that they're going to connect with.
I love that. Where can people know more about you and how could you help them?
Yeah, so I hang out on Instagram, so vanessawilde.co, and Wilde has an E at the end, like Oscar Wilde. And then I have a website, vanessawildeco.com. And then I can help with copy, and then the messaging refinement I'd love to support on to make sure that it's clear. I would rather you have that messaging aligned before you have anyone write your copy, instead of having copy written and then realizing it needs to be adjusted to match the true message that you have.
Yeah, and really, it really is an investment, because that's like having a creative document where you can just keep refining it through time. That will help you in your whole business for years to come.
Yes. And usually once you get that like deep messaging, it's only small refinements along the way. If you adjust like slightly, or the market changes a little bit, or you're like, oh, I want to work a little further ahead with my ideal client. It's so much easier to have this starting point to make small adjustments years down the line, which will be quite a while down the line, depending on where you're at now. And it will save you so much money and bring in a lot more money than you would currently.
If you enjoyed the show, hit the share button and send it over to one fellow marketer or entrepreneur. We work hard to make sure they'll thank you for it. Also, to get featured on the show, go to valuetizing.com and apply to become our next guest. Until next time, keep valuetizing.